Okay, so we're back live, and we are here in the final round of Swiss, and we will have a win and in for you between the teams of Linden, Koch, and Gans, and Górniak Strzelecki, and we quite didn't get the last name, but yeah, these two teams will square against each other.
Yeah, so the winner of this, the winning team of this match will get to the top 8 to fight for the Team Proto invitation. So the stakes are not extraordinarily high, but high.
Did you maybe cover either of these teams earlier, and you know what they are playing, or?
I unfortunately didn't.
Okay, so I think that the team of that the team of Linden, Koch, and Gans. I know that Florian Koch is on Green Black Constrictor, and Andreas Gans is playing Blue White deck. So I believe Carsten Linden is playing the red deck.
The red deck. That's a good question actually. Has any team registering decks for today registered 3 decks without a single mountain?
I've heard that there was a team without a red deck, but I didn't see it.
An urban legend.
Yeah, this is just the urban legend of Chain Wheeler free format. Okay, so looks like Linden is taking mulligan. And Górniak is apparently fine with his starting 7.
Did the run start already?
Yes.
Okay. Because nobody's waiting.
Our boat is running.
We don't know who's on the play field, but if I'm correct and Linden is in fact playing, yeah, we can see some red cards and mountains in his deck where he's shuffling. If he is playing red deck, it is quite crucial for him to be on the play. Okay, so looks like we jump to a different match. It is Andreas Gans against Piotr Wiktorzak.
Yeah, that's a matchup that we covered multiple times throughout today.
Yeah, it's
already.
Yeah, it's pretty much a classic matchup in this format. It is blue-white control against mono-red or red-black.
Seems very
Yeah,
dependent on the die roll.
if it is this Earthshaker Canra suggests to me that this is probably mono-red. Yeah, this matchup is extremely die roll dependent in my opinion.
Yeah, notably Andreas already established some nice
control
defense.
over, control
Alvared
over.
still at 20 life points is not going to die very quickly.
Exactly, and this search for Ascanta will pull some weight in this matchup probably. Okay. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks to me like there is a copy of Approach of the
yeah,
Second
there
Sun
is
lurking in
indeed
Andreas' hand,
an
so
approach
he has
of
a long-term game plan
inevitability,
covered.
basically. So we've seen that Andreas opted to save his card on top from Ascanta's scry, and it was Settled Wreckage. And now this is pretty big win for Andreas because he's under so little pressure that he could relatively freely resolve this Glimmer of Genius. And with a win con like Approach, you just need this critical mass of cards to hit your land drops constantly. And oh, here we see a pretty aggressive scry on the bottom. With the scry was 2 planes, I believe, and Andreas has 5th land in the hand, but not 6th nor 7th.
I think I will be tempted to keep the one of
Yeah,
the planes.
I think one planes was reasonable at this point.
Looks like he might be just more afraid of getting flooded than...
I don't know if I would
then
be afraid about
Mana's
it
screwed.
because you have approach and soon to be active Ascanta, which will end this game at rather fast pace. But yeah,
Well, the point is that if you are not casting spells, then approach doesn't really win you the game, because then you die to things that are on board.
Yeah,
and
but
also
he-
if
but
you are not
yeah.
casting spells, then Ascanta is also flipping
yeah, that's
slowly.
true. But he had settled the wreckage and I believe one seal away at that point in hand, so he was like, I think pretty set on like spell for next few turns territory. Okay, so here we can see a pretty standard game one play from Mono Red deck, that is abrading his own Phoenix in response to exiling effect. So he could get this precious elemental token that will transform into a hasty Phoenix on his next upkeep.
One thing that I was thinking about and discussing with other players who were preparing for the RPTQ in this unified standard format was whether, if you are playing Mono Red, the possibility of mainboarding Chandra Torch of Defiance over Rekindling Thing. Seems like not too many players have went this route. Every single match we see, players have Rekindling Phoenix game 1, it seems to me.
Yeah,
And with like fairly high possibility of facing control, having
Yeah,
Chandra over
that's
Phoenix
true.
is certainly a sizable upgrade. of
yeah,
your
we
deck.
were discussing it as well, and I think what might have come across most of those teams' minds is that we were, my team was undervaluing green decks, and I think that Phoenix is better card against green decks than Chandra, and it is also a better card against the mirror match. So most of the time you will be facing a deck that is worse against Phoenix than it is against Chandra in my opinion. So
Fair.
even though it's close, probably I would lean towards playing a Phoenix in the first game still. Okay, so here we see Hazoret, yeah, with 2 cards in hand. I believe this is Lightning Strike and Shock in Victor Jacques' hand, yeah. So we can see Lightning Strike to the dome, and yeah, I think the last card in his hand is indeed Shock, and now we can see a very sizable attack.
Oh, that was weird, because he just let Piotr attack with every creature with a blink of an eye in hand.
He has 2 seal aways, so
Okay,
I
yeah.
think it will
Okay,
be
that
his plan.
explains everything.
Yeah, yeah. This is probably better to use than Blink of an Eye, just to do not give Piotr's information whether or not to attack Teferi or Andreas.
I mean, the nice thing is that you get to playing both Hazoret for a turn plus, say, Phoenix, for example. So bounce Phoenix and Hazoret cannot attack the same.
Yeah, that's definitely an upgrade. So Andreas looks to be in the tank. If he hits a land drop, he can play approach this turn and then untap 2 lands, and in his end step he can seal away this Phoenix. But he's at free. He is at 3 life, so approach of the second sun would give him a much needed life buffer to take control over this game.
Yeah, it seems like he actually is getting punished slightly for bottoming both of those plays.
Exactly. I think it was too greedy.
Because now he's not concentrated on spells. Like
Yeah.
if he's gonna die this game, he's gonna die with spells in hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And like he had to make some uncomfortable moves. It seemed like.
I think so, that he undervalued the possibility of making the ability of making every single land drop, and he got, as I said, too greedy in my opinion.
It's still relatively stable. He could just
That's true.
blink and then disallow.
Yeah. He also has
Victor Jack's play.
Syncopate for a card like Hazoret or this Phoenix on its way back. Oh no, it was Seal Await, so it is not coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like this train wheeler will be blinked mid-combat.
I've seen a shock in Viktor's hand.
Yeah,
That's dangerous.
that's very dangerous.
Oh, that's
actually.
very dangerous. He just let that resolve.
Because now, if he taps out for an approach, he is dead to this shock. Looks like Gans is facing a rather difficult decision.
I would definitely be tempted to disallow this Goblin Chain Wheeler.
Exactly, because you are getting so uncomfortably close to getting burned out, and not disallowing this chain wheeler just makes you dead to much more cards than you would have been otherwise. Because now a resolved Hazoret can just throw a card in your face.
I mean, it looks like he certainly has a plan for this game. It is a much more defensive plan. He was also playing around the card like a lightning
Lightning
strike.
yeah, that's true.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Me being the aggressive player I am, I would be tempted to just try to tap out for approach.
Yeah, I would
a
have been
bunch of
tempted as
turns,
well.
Before a
It,
bunch of turns earlier
yeah.
in this game.
it just seemed much more attractive to me.
Andreas seems to be taking much more conservative
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah, but I liked how he played this game so far, with sole exception of bottoming those both lands. I think it was a mistake on his part.
Yeah, for example, you see not activating Ascanta. He is very conscious of
Of
what needs to be done.
some lethal burn spells, so there is virtually no way that he will tap out for an approach anytime soon without proper protection.
The problem is that it's gonna only get harder and harder. Like if you are, if you are conscious of that, and then you are not activating Ascanta, the Sunken Ruin because of that, then you are not really getting anywhere. And
Yeah,
your
that-
opponent is drawing a card their turn.
Well, now you have
Around 6 to 8 of which are lethal.
yeah,
on
but
this
now
field.
okay, but now you have 7 lands with 8 in your hand, and your opponent has 2 cards in hand, and if he's not playing anything, you can safely tap out for this Ascanta because you have Disallow in hand. So yeah, I still like Andreas' position, but it could be slightly better.
I think so. I think that Piotr is probably mathematically favored to win this game. Right now.
Yeah, that might be the case. Okay. I don't think Andreas will counter this. With 2 Fumigates in his hand, it's just no way that he's countering this card.
There's also plenty of cards that are dangerous for Andreas that he doesn't really want to counter, but then he will need to. For example, if Piotr draws even something as lowly as an Earthshaker Kenra, or right now a Bombat Courier,
Yeah.
he's probably gonna gain 1 life with Fumigate, but
Yeah.
making Bombat Courier less threatening. But
Unless one of Petr's cards is an Abrade, he will gain this 1 life back. It looks like Andreas is setting up Fumigate right here, but it is indeed an
yeah,
Abrade.
that's a smart upgrade.
Okay. So now we see Andreas with 7 mana open. Okay. Okay, so this
Yeah,
is
that's one of those unpleasant spots.
Yeah.
Like now you have to counter
you
Chain
have to
Wheeler.
counter it, and now he will probably just fire up this shock in the face, and Andreas has just one mana too little to counter it with Syncopate. And well, we've seen Andreas's decision came back to bite him with bottoming those lands and getting stuck on it, kind of.
Yeah, that was a very close game.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's true.
interesting one to watch and to
Okay.
parse.
So here we can see a match between Carsten Linden and Mariusz Górniak. Carsten looks to be playing a red black chain wheeler deck, and Mariusz is playing Esper Control. So we can safely assume that the middle sit is the green deck mirror. Because we know for sure that Florian Koch is playing Constrictor, and with between mono red and Esper you can't play really anything other than green, right? So the game state seems a little skewed towards Karsten, I would say. Mariusz is now going down to 8, and he has a Lyra Dawnbringer in his hand, which is a very scary card if Mariusz can untap with it, but it's not easy to untap with this card. So
It's both a very scary card to
both players. It is
it's
one
very,
of those
very,
double-edged
very
swords.
Very scary to face as the mono red player. It's also very scary to
Yeah.
play and just cross your finger and pray for it to survive.
Okay. Yeah, this was a tough spot for Mariusz as well, because now his Torrential Gear Hulk is susceptible to some cards like Encrop Crusher or Earthshaker Kenra, but red-black I don't think plays Earthshaker Kenra that often.
Kenra doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. My mistake. But
Disintegration would win the game on the spot.
yeah, but it would have won the game.
Actually, it wouldn't because he was at 11 from Vraska's Contempt.
Okay, that's true as well. Like, it would have been equally devastating if he contempts the Chandra during his turn or your opponent's turn.
Only 7 mana, one short of playing Doomfall to check Karsten's hand and
Okay.
then play Lyra.
He'll probably Lyra plus search for Ascanta. And his reasoning might have been that,
Oh, I see an Angra,
yeah, that's
which
true.
is actually lethal if Karsten has a land.
But it looks like
Unfortunately
Karsten
for him,
doesn't
it
have a
seems
land.
like, yeah,
But
like he misses.
I think that Mariusz's play of Lyra was pretty good, because the last turn, if Karsten had a removal for a big creature like Disintegration, he would have played it on Gear Hulk and just Chauvin with both creatures. So Mariusz is fairly sure that his opponent didn't have Disintegration in his hand. Now being one mana short on Angraf is very devastating, and you can see that every single player from Górniak's team is up one game over their opponents. So this is actually a game that can decide this match, and it will put Mariusz's team one step closer to this top 8.
Yep.
Here we can see some thought from Mariusz. He's considering.
What's the name of the card that he sees?
This is Forsake the Worldly.
Yeah, Forsake the Worldly.
Yeah, and he was considering whether or not he wants to bin this.
Whether or not he wants to
Forsake
get
it.
a removal spell for
Yeah.
Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Whether or not he wants to forsake this card. Okay.
Seems somewhat attractive to me.
Yeah, I think this Doomfall will almost assuredly look at his opponent's hand. And he will see, okay, Glorybringer. Glorybringer isn't very good in this situation, so he will definitely take Angraf, which is much
Also-
more scary card right now.
It's also not too shabby. Like you cannot really attack with Lyra now, so you are still open to a removal spell.
Yeah, that's true. Because
If you attack with Lyra, Karsten blocks with Phoenix. Phoenix gets brought back, attacks with everything. You're at 14. You block a Scrounger and you take 7.
10.
You take 10, so you go to 4. With,
Okay.
with Glorybringer and a land, you are exactly
Uh,
that.
Karsten drew an Aberrate, I believe, which is a very convenient answer for Torrential Gear Hulk, but sadly it's not very good against Lyra, and
It's less convenient against Lyra, definitely.
yeah, because for as long as Lyra remains on the battlefield, Carsten doesn't have any real attacks, to be honest. Here we can
How
see.
true is that? Like, if he removes Gearhulk and attacks with everything, assuming that Mariusz is holding a blank, you block Phoenix, because it's the biggest. And then you take 9. So you actually take 4 damage if you block Phoenix. If you block Scrounger, then Scrounger dies.
Yeah, and they are taking.
But you can bring it back. It's actually not as that bad to attack with everything in those scenarios. It's not like Lyra invalidates every possible thing that the Red Deck could master.
That's exactly true. You are right, but Carsten would have liked to remove Lyra much more than he would like to remove the other creature. Okay, so looks like let's gain 5 for Mariusz. And I kinda like getting aggressive with this Lyra because he's playing around the removal preemptively this way. Looks like Mariusz is using Field of Ruin, probably not to fix his mana, but as an attempt to fill his graveyard for the Search for Ascanta, because this Field of Ruin puts him up to 6 cards, so he will have an option to flip his Search for Ascanta next turn.
Why did he exactly do that main phase then?
Because he knows about Glorybringer. He could have done it like in his draw step probably. Okay. Now Mariusz is forced to counter this Abrade.
Oh, so Joseph was a syncopate.
Now, if Carsten draws a land for this Glorybringer,
Then you just show with everything. Exert on Tenacious Gearhulk, that's 8 plus 9, that's 17.
blocks 1, it's still 14, yeah.
So you don't have to exert, but you can.
Yeah, he drew another Phoenix, which is unfortunate.
Oh, how unfortunate. That's still great.
Yeah, this situation still favors Carsten very much. And
I think you can still attack with everything.
I guess so. Without Lyra, it's still the only creature that you can really bring back is Karizev, and Mariusz can block Karizev. So yeah. This is 10 damage going in Mariusz's way, in Mariusz's face. So yeah, and this Esper list that I've seen were pretty diverse. So it's not like every single Esper list is playing Settle the Wreckage. So
I think it's pretty fairly uncommon for them, even.
yeah, last round we've seen an Esper deck with Settle the Wreckage,
True.
and now
Like in retrospective, what was actually the point of attacking with this Lyra? I think it was not great. Maybe no, of course, maybe there is something I'm missing.
yeah. Of course we can miss something, but yeah,
it actually exchanges, like you end up losing more points,
Yeah.
more life points than you gain.
yeah. I think this wasn't a very good attack as well. Oh, Carsten is now deep in the tank. Looks like okay, I think he drew a mountain. And now he's considering his options. Okay. So looks like Glorybringer is here. Okay. With Glorybringer on the stack, Mariusz is checking for some interaction. He found
pretty
an
perfect.
Essence Scatter.
Essence Scatter.
Pretty timely Essence Scatter. Because now, okay, Carsten doesn't have any good attacks, right? Just one Scrounger
there's
on the
no way.
battlefield, yeah. Okay, another land for Mariusz. This one can mitigate a flat somehow because of the cycling, but still not
He
good.
also has his Fatal Push available,
Yeah, that's true.
which would I'm not sure of on the math, but actually maybe it would enable Carson to like make some attack that would turn out to be really bad for him if you have a fatal push.
Maybe.
It's pretty.
'Kay.
No, actually, not
I-
really that likely.
I haven't quite seen what Karsten drew for this turn. It looks like he's shoving with both Phoenix.
It's a tricky attack. Like on the surface, it doesn't make sense. So there's some trickery to it.
Yeah.
What did Karsten draw then? I haven't seen.
It looks like he will take Vraska's Contempt from this Search for Contempt.
That's slightly disastrous. And by slightly disastrous is
Absolutely mind-boggling disastrous. Okay, it looks like first strike damage will be dealt, and probably, I guess we will see a Vraska's Contempt before regular damage on the second Phoenix. Unless Karsten has something to say about it. Okay. So Karsten's plan was to abrade the blocked Phoenix to deal exactly lethal damage to Mariusz. It was pretty smart plan, but
yeah, that's a
now
plan.
Mariusz is at
But yeah,
rather
existence of any removal spell in Mariusz's hand
Okay.
was disastrous for Karsten, because then it turned out like then you have to spend an upgrade, like you spend it on your own Phoenix instead of killing a torrential Gearhawk. Then Mariusz actually takes advantage of that and removes the elemental token with a fatal push.
yeah, that went really well for Mariusz. And his draw for turn was cast out, and another cast out is now revealed with this Ascanta the Second Ruin.
Was it a cast out or was it a
Cast down. Yeah, sorry. All those confusing card names. So I think attack with Lyra now is free, or even profitable. Okay, so he's taking really aggressive route. Because he can kill Karsten.
He goes to 11 life, so there's no
Yeah,
outs
I
for
li-
Karsten, I think.
yeah, I like this round. I like this aggressiveness of Mariusz. And if this line works,
Bringer will be dealt with
yeah,
cast down. Every non-Chandra thing will be dealt with cast down. Chandra doesn't really accomplish anything.
yeah,
Karsten would need to draw a unlicensed disintegration. But he's holding a creature back to block. That's not a good sign for Karsten.
for an aggressive deck. Yeah, and if Mariusz wins this game, he actually will win his match, and the whole match for his team
Florian got defeated by
by Adam Strzelecki. Yeah.
and a top decked fairy
Okay.
seals the deal.
Okay, so looks like they are okay. Okay.
They are packing up
They are
because the
packing up,
match
but
has finished.
Yeah, I was
So
I was confused because now the scoreboard is 0-1 across the board for the Polish team. So yeah, but
Mariusz Górniak, Adam Strzelecki and Piotr Wiktorzak. This team will advance to top 8
yeah,
of this tournament,
Yeah.
presumably.
yeah, over much more renowned and much more experienced team of Andreas Gans, Florian Koch and Carsten Linden. Yeah, this pretty much wraps it up for this round feature matches. We will definitely have some member of the winning team in our booth in a very near future for the winners interview. So stay tuned for that and see you then.